Welcome to show number, I believe it's 3. I know it's 3. Pathways to Positivity. We are extremely excited because this is our Christmas spectacular. We're going to have fun today. We're going to have a real fun time, and hopefully you will as well. The funny thing was, I say funny, it might be ironic, it might be weird. I was talking to my colleague, and I said, we have to move the show back from the recording a half an hour. She's like, why? I said, I have a funeral tomorrow. She says, oh, that's too bad. She's like, who died? I said, I don't know. She's like, you don't know who died? Are you just going to be supportive to whoever died? And I kind of chuckled and I said, no, I'm actually being trained at our church to serve as a server for funerals, to help out the priest. So that's why I'm wearing black and in a suit. And then it dawned on me, someone just passed away 5 days before Christmas. And it is sad. Of course it's sad. But what's uplifting and what was really positive for me is when I listened to the eulogy, the first thing the individual said was, Jesus is the reason for the season. And it just gave me such an uplifting spark. Now, this message is not just for Christians. This message is for everybody. This season is for the Christians, the non-Christians, Muslims, Jews, atheists, whoever you are. Let's give of ourselves. That's why I get so excited, because I just love to give of myself. So part of the show today is going to be a little bit of a wacky talk and, some funny game things. But just remember, when we're going through difficult times, like this can be during these times of seasons, people die, stress, bills, we can focus on that, or we can focus on what's uplifting about the season, about seeing people that you love. Don't worry about the people you don't love. Focus on the ones that you love. Be happy. And dare I say, be happy for the ones that are no longer with us, because they're helping us. That's what I believe. So, our show, Dr. Beth, which is now going to be referred to as Bubbly Beth, because that's our nickname for her, because she is so upbeat and bubbly. And my nickname actually is Pixel, because what you get for a new phone, Paul? I said, I got a Google Pixel. She's like, you're Pixel Paul. So that's our wackiness, so to speak. But we'll have an interview, and then we're going to have some virtual questions, and then from there, we'll go and make things better than when we found them. See you in a couple.
Good afternoon, Paulie G. from Westerly. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello. I say it every time. This is my favorite part of the show, when we can be captive with each other, candid.
And here we go. We are 5 days away from Christmas.
At time of recording. At time of recording, 5 days away from Christmas. People might be watching this on Christmas. Who knows?
And we are on time. Imagine that.
Yeah,
We're even a little festive.
Yes,
festive
I want
today.
you to take note of our high-budget festiveness here. We pull out all the stops. Oprah Winfrey let us borrow this stuff. So we're all squared away.
I think it looks very lovely
I do.
today, Paul.
And that's credit to Bubbly.
Bubbly Beth.
She brought it all. The tablecloth, the little carriage with the pine cones, the tree. We are bleeding festivity. But bleeding's a bad connotation, blossoming. How about blossoming?
We'll do blossoming.
Blossoming,
Festive. We'll go
yes.
with the festive for the
sure.
Christmas season.
Absolutely.
But we're happy to be here today and feeling a little festive. But we have some things to share for the holiday season. And again, Christmas is 5 days away.
5 days away. Yeah, 5 days away. And you know who's coming to town?
We already know Paulie G's here, so.
Santa. Santa's coming to town. I love him. I've never met him.
I love Rudolph.
I've met the Santa in, like, the mall. But
Well,
is
when
it
you
the
were-
same one?
When you were 5,
Yeah, 5, 6, or whatever. But I don't know if that's the real one. I think it's all his helpers.
his
I've never
elves.
met the real Santa. I was at show and tell one time, 2nd grade, and a girl said she saw Santa Claus. And I was just so envious of that. And because I never saw him.
Aw.
You know, but what are you going to do? So let's get to our agenda. We're going off script here.
So back to the show. And again, Merry Christmas. 5 days away from
Yes.
from Christmas. And we know it can be a season of stress and hecticness and hasty and
But
things
what's
that
our
break it
focus?
down. Our focus is pathway to positivity
Right.
during this Christmas season.
And it's not just verbiage, it's actually thinking. When we're feeling down, when we're feeling upset, when we're feeling stressed, we're thinking that way. Let's think about something uplifting, memories, things that make us happy. And we sometimes have to force ourselves to do it. And it's a
Yes, we do.
process. It's a process that you have to do until it becomes habitual.
You're
And then
exactly.
it becomes easier. And it becomes easier.
You're
And
right.
some days are better than others.
You're right, Paul. We do. We have to practice and take that
Yeah.
negativity, the stresses that are happening, and reset and turning it into a positive thought. And it does
Yeah.
take, it's relearning and taking new habits.
Right. Because
Making
I don't
new
want
habits.
to convey a message of just being superficial.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. Just being, oh, how you doing?
Yeah.
Elbows out. We're just talking about thinking differently.
Yeah,
And when you think differently, you act differently.
exactly.
And it's what you're thinking about. So if you don't like the results, and you don't like what you're thinking about, or you don't like the feeling, change your thinking.
And also your actions.
And that will come. Your thinking will cause a feeling, will cause an action. That's exactly where it starts. And that's a great segue that you said that, Beth.
And responses instead of,
Exactly.
and we've said this in previous shows, and not doing reactions, but learning healthy, positive responses.
Amen.
And it does take work, and it is learning new habits. Because behind the scenes,
Yeah, no, right.
we have to practice pathways to
Exactly.
positivity.
Of course.
You know?
What I mean? Everybody has a challenge. You know, not everybody has what we have, but everybody has something. And we have to recognize that. So instead of being abrupt and being ticked off because we're in a rush and we have to do what we have to do, maybe there's a reason why we're held up in traffic. Maybe there's a reason why we're in line. God may want us to be cheerful to the person in front of us, or strike up a conversation with someone else.
Take a moment to pause for a minute.
And reflect.
know.
So,
So again, we're happy to be here. Great to see you, Paul.
Yes,
And we
thank
do
you,
have
Beth.
some lighthearted questions today.
Yeah, we
for
need it,
our
'cause we've gotten too serious
holiday
right now.
season. Very serious. So let's just take it up to this question here, Paul. Some theme songs. The question, if you could assign a theme song with your life right now, what would it be? And he says, why it's not Eye of the Tiger. Or
Right.
maybe you have a Christmas song. I know
And
what
then-
my song is.
yeah, because that's the other thing when I was thinking of this. I really didn't like it at first. I'm like, I don't want to pick a song or an animal you associate with or this or that. But then I was thinking about it. You can have some fun with that. You know what I mean? And for me, I thought of a Christmas song.
It's not Rudolph.
No, you know,
Don't get us
it's the 12, not the 12 days of Christmas. It's the 12 pains of Christmas. You know, remember that cut up? They did it, the 12 pains of Christmas, sending Christmas cards.
Oh,
One
right.
goes out, they all go out.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, we can get wrapped up in that. You know, I'm hanging Christmas lights a few weeks ago, right? and I'm getting festive and stuff. And then the lights went out. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? So finally, I touched one bulb, and they all went on. I said, oh, thank God. Thank God. You know what I mean? And then what happened?
They all went out
2 days later, the strand went out. But I said, you know what? It's meant to be. We're leaving it that way, and we're just going to be festive with what's on there. You know what I'm saying? And not getting too worked up. So that song, The 12 Pains of Christmas, you can look it up on YouTube. It's a wonderful one. You know,
So my question is, are the lights on or the lights off?
So figuratively and literally. So
we only have 20 minutes today.
They're both on. They are on and off. Okay. So we got them both. We got them both. Okay.
Told you it was.
How about your song?
We said it was going to be lighthearted today.
How about your song?
Mine's quick and short. Build Me Up, Buttercup.
Okay, Build Me Up Buttercup.
That's not a Christmas song
though. But that's
mine's not a Christmas song. Build Me Up, Buttercup.
That makes you feel good. Okay.
Anyway, so we will be pressed for time. So.
All right, what's the next one?
Those are our songs. But everybody out there, think of your song, whether it's a Christmas song or some song that is uplifting. All right. What's the most ridiculous thing you've done to get out of a bad mood? And these are things, exercise we can do during the holiday season.
That's a hard question. You know, and again, I'm being fully transparent. I knew this question going into this interview, you know, and I thought about it. And again, I really don't have a plausible answer, but one of the things I used to do in my, let's say in my less better days, was I would drink.
Oh.
You know, and I would drink like a 3 beers real quick, you know what I mean, to get a quick buzz. But that was only superficial. Mm-hmm. What happens after that? Mm-hmm. You know, and that's thank God I no longer do those things, and I've grown through that. But we need to find ways to get out of that bad mood. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do? We need to think about things. What memories do we have? Mm-hmm. What perception do we have? I might be looking at things from a perception from my perspective. How about I look at it from a different perspective? You ever see those optical illusion things? You know, you're looking at it one way, you turn it upside down. Oh, yeah. It's a different image type thing. You know, that's exactly what we need to do in our lives. Is sometimes when we're stuck in a negative sense, look at it from a different direction and say, oh, you know what, geez, maybe it's someone else that needs our help that are worse off than we are.
Different perspective.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know?
Mine is usually something funny. As we know, comic relief is my cushion. Yeah,
so what is yours?
I was thinking of a memory. We were celebrating my mom's birthday and had a lot of relatives coming, and I always like to make my mom laugh, so I remembered that I wore one of her wigs, and I dressed up like one of the California cousins who wasn't able to come to the birthday celebration for her.
Wow, you did some
work.
With
the sunglasses on and the wig, you know, right. I do like props.
Yeah. Wow, you're good. You pull out the stops.
It was very entertaining, a lot of laughs, and
right.
entering.
You know, and sometimes we need to go that extra step,
Yep.
Beth.
Yep. Laughter is my coping from bad moods or negativity or feeling low.
Finding the funny part of it, absolutely.
Or watching something funny, you know, anything humorous.
I love that you said that. It's so true.
But it takes effort, so
it does.
We all get into moods or feeling low or so. But
so we're going to be like a full-fledged comedy show, maybe. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe
That's January.
We'll be drama, comedy. We'll have
very versatile.
All right, what else we got?
Okay, well, that's right. All right. Here's one. If positivity were a workout, which exercise would you definitely not involve? If positivity were a workout, which exercise would it definitely not involve?
Yeah, so I want to be positive, right?
Remember what we talked about yesterday.
I want to be positive, so I'm not going to pick something that I like to work out. I'm going to pick out something I wouldn't do. So I'd say swimming. I don't like to swim. I'm not good at it. I swim. Don't get me wrong. I can swim. I was a lifeguard, but I wasn't a good swimmer. But you know, it's a chore. You get wet. You know what I mean? It's
Not your thing.
not
So
my
that's
thing. But
yours.
I do it. I do it, not as often as I used to.
Well, mine is lifting weights. So ironically,
We're polar opposite. We are
you
so
lift
polar
weights,
opposite.
and I love to swim.
Yeah, isn't
So
that funny?
I just thought that was
But you know what? That's
entertaining.
apropos because
But it
we
is
are
funny.
so identical in some cases, but so polar opposite in
Yep.
others. And that's the world. That's life. Find out the person that you can't stand or driving you crazy. Find out what you like about them. It's a game. You know, what do I like about this person? Absolutely nothing. Yeah, okay, you know, then leave. Then get out of the situation. Or find it, you know, make it a challenge to see what I can find out about this person that I like. You know, that could be the case.
I'll go swimming, you lift the weights.
You stick to that, right?
Anyway, so everybody out there, you can think of your own exercises that positivity of not involving.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on here,
Moving right along.
back to our Christmas spirit. So let's talk about, Paul, like some uplifting ideas, something we can share with those that might be experiencing some holiday blues, some sorrows, some grief, some aloneness, you know.
Yeah. That's a great question, and I say that sincerely because I'm dealing with a friend that's down and out, you know, during this season. Do you think that friend is going to want to play a game or do, you know what I mean? It's so difficult. You have to sometimes force yourself. You have to decide that I'm going to be happy even though I'm crushed inside. And sometimes that little bit can kind of cause a spark and kind of lift you up a little bit, even if it's for 30 seconds. Because depression, anxiety, oppression, you know, you name it, whatever you're going through can consume you unless you change the way you think, feel, and act. But it starts with the thinking.
Right.
You know, it starts with the thinking. Then you get a thought, you're like, oh, you know what, maybe I will try that. And you try it, and you know what? It doesn't work out at all. It works worse. But you know what? You can make a joke about it. You know, but you can find it. You can find the answer, and that's the journey. It's the journey that we're on.
Exactly.
To find out what works.
You have to practice. It's breaking those habits. It takes work.
It does. It does. It takes work.
You know,
we're
breaking
living
habits.
proof. You know, we're not anomalies.
No.
We're living
not
proof
at all.
of it. You know, because sometimes we look at people, Beth, and we say, oh, they have it all together. Why can't I be that way? You have no idea what their self-image is.
Or what they're experiencing.
We have a self-image of them, and they have a self-image of themselves.
Exactly.
And it could be totally opposite. They could be dying inside. And you don't know. So that's why it's great to be uplifting and try to be as positive as you can to everybody because you don't know what they're going through.
Offer a word of encouragement.
Amen.
Of support. Something that I like to do, and I know I shared this during the November and Thanksgiving, something we can share that are experiencing some Christmas blues or sorrow. I try and would think of someone who, a neighbor, a friend, or a relative who actually might not have family around during the holiday or going through some difficulty or some grief. So I might want to reach out to that person. I might leave a note card in their mailbox or a voicemail they're being thought of.
That's awesome. It's a
cookie.
little thing. It's just a
something-
little thing. It's not like giving them $600.
No.
It's just a little note. We're thinking of you.
Simple.
You know?
It's about being something simple, you know, and doing it anonymously and just brighten and lighten somebody's day during the holiday season.
You know something, Beth?
Yeah.
You make such a great point because that just made me think about someone that I pray for every single night. And she was so upset with me because she hadn't heard from me in 2 weeks.
Not knowing that you've been...
She doesn't know I'm praying for her.
Yeah. Behind the scenes doing
you know
your...
what I mean? So sometimes
do.
maybe it's just a text message. Hey, how you doing?
or just a knock at the door or a simple phone call or whatever it is. You know, sometimes we think we're doing all these good things, and you know, we need to really reflect into the present and say, you know what, have I checked in with her?
Right.
I know you've prayed for her, but does she know you're praying for
Right.
her? She doesn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you make a great point. I love that. That resonated with me immensely. And I hope it's resonated with our audience. I really do, because these are the little things that can make really a big difference when it's compounded on top of each other.
It can go a long way.
Absolutely.
You know?
Consistently. Doing it consistently over time. Not just in December, folks.
Exactly.
Do it in January.
All year
Look
round.
forward for something in every month of the year. You know, and pick something. Say, okay, January we're going to do something or whatever. Look forward to something or whatever it is. You know,
Try and touch somebody's life.
Yeah, I like that. I love where you went with that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, let's see. We do have a couple of questions here because
Virtual audience?
we have only so much time here.
Yeah,
so
we got about 7
let's
minutes.
see. Which one do we want to go through? We have Karen from New York, Sally from Delaware, and we'll finish up with Roger. But let's go with Karen because she did have quite the Christmas challenge.
Now, she emailed in.
Yes, she did, but I wrote down the question.
Okay.
So Karen is from New York, and talk about practicing pathway to positivity. I'll try and keep it brief. Karen had been preparing her home, which has been the tradition for many, many years, family, friends, and neighbors to come, and thought she was going to have a painting interior project completed, Paul, which there were some delays, some detours, and the timeline was not met. So she was very frustrated, disheartened. I mean, I could go on and on.
Right.
But so her question, her email was.
The email was much longer than what your question was.
Is, but we only have so much time
Exactly,
today.
exactly.
And we have another person's
So
question.
we're privy to it.
So some suggestions or advice because
Yeah.
she was under very stress.
Right. You're planning for the Christmas holiday. You have ample time for the contractors to come in and come out.
And it didn't happen.
And it didn't happen. And now you're like, what am I going to do?
That's exactly it.
What the heck am I going to? So you either flip out, stress out, and get ticked off and just find all ways to be angry, or we just let it release. You know, and that's hard to do when you're going through this. You just release it and say, okay, we're going to have a house that's not going to be Christmas card worthy, and that's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? If there's no other solutions, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? If everyone's coming into that house and this is what it's going to be.
We make some changes.
And that's going to be the butt of the joke in Christmases down the road. It is. And you know what I mean? It's going to be. Remember back in 2024 when the house wasn't done and you laugh about it. But right now you're going through
It wasn't very funny.
You know, Karen? So right now you're terrified. Because
5 more days to Christmas.
Exactly. 5 more days till Christmas. But you know what? You're still alive. And you can still celebrate it. And we're going to get through this in a funny way, even though it's not funny right now.
No.
You know, and we're gonna do what we got to do.
Yeah. And she did share people were coming to help and would bring food and just.
And that's what everybody said. They're gonna make do, right?
So Karen, we have some more information, and Paul will be following up with a further email on that.
I'm gonna get your address.
He's coming over to finish the project. All right. So Sally from Delaware. We shared a little bit about some Christmas activities. She does have neighbors and friends coming over, some family, and she just wanted a couple of activities maybe to bring some joy and laughter while everybody's there, because she's doing all the preparing and the food.
Yeah, what I would say is, if you're not a funny person, don't bring laughter. You know what I mean? Bring yourself. Bring whatever you're good at. If you're funny, bring it. If you're dry sense of humor or sarcastic, bring that. You know, bring your authenticity. Bring what you are. You don't have to bring what you're not. And I hope that resonates with you. Bring yourself, but the best version of yourself.
Bring some food.
Right.
Bring a dessert.
I'll give you some suggestions. Right. Exactly. You know?
Sing a Christmas
ask
song
them what you
together.
want. The host
There
will
you
tell
go.
you.
There you go.
You know?
There you go.
Ask and you shall receive.
There you go.
Love it. Okay.
Christmas song. So we're running out of time.
No, we got 3
We always
minutes.
wish
We
we
got 3
had.
minutes.
We wish we had more time.
We could talk all day. We may have to turn this
We
into
could.
an hour show. We'll have juggling and stuff.
January, the new year, 2025, Paul.
Right. So,
All right, our Roger from Wyoming. Roger says,
Wyoming, the state.
Not Rhode
Yeah,
Island.
the state. Okay. So we're not. It's not deer. It's not home. Okay. So it's in the state of Wyoming. We probably don't know them.
Roger says, so who is doing the Christmas cleanup?
Yeah. You know, the women.
That's what we have
The women
for
are doing
today.
it, right? Don't. And that's the
Edit
thing.
that.
Wasn't that the case back in the 50s? You know, and men would go out and sit down, and the women would clean up. You know, times have changed, my friend. The guys got to get in there and start helping. You know what I mean? And put their 2 cents in. You know, and not just make it seem like mom always takes care of it. You know, so and I'm guilty of this. I'm the one that's sitting on the couch sometimes.
I heard.
So it's who's doing the cleanup. I'm going to be conscious in helping out with the cleanup. Everyone pitches in. What is it? Many hands makes light work. Is that the?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard that. Is that the Paul
Is that a Paul
mantra?
But the point is, the more people that help out, the quicker it gets done. You know what I mean? And we're all positive. We're not chauvinistic. We're not misogynistic. We're all one. We're all the same. Thank the people that prepared the food, and those that didn't prepare the food, maybe they do the cleanup.
Well, I'll tell you what I do.
Sometimes both do it.
I bring my rubber gloves to anyone I'm visiting, and we'll do up all the cleanup for dishes. Someone's preparing a meal, I'll clean up.
Well said.
Rubber gloves.
Well said. You know, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? We all have to do our part. You know, it's not just saying things; it's acting on what we say.
There you have it. There you have it.
That's
Well-
pretty good to end on, right?
Right.
You know, that would be a pretty good note to end on. What do you have? Anything to end on?
Well, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. A happy, healthy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Paul, it's been a great year with you.
Wonderful.
I'm looking forward to 2025.
Thank you. Beth, that means a lot. Thank you.
No,
I
seriously.
appreciate that.
Thank
And Merry
you.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Happy
everybody.
New Year. Happy Kwanzaa, whatever else there is.
And safe,
Hanukkah.
safe travels.
Safe travels. And
Merry
do
Christmas.
something nice for your family, for someone else, for yourself.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.